So I'm just gonna get back in the swing of things.
Okay.
So fresh out of school is like you're entering adulthood, and it's like a reality check, and it's sometimes it can be real scary too. So what was your reality check, and like how did you just adjust to like being on your own?
Okay. A reality check I had was when I calculated my net worth. I realized that I was 20 something when I graduated, and I was like comparing the amount of debt I had towards based off of what I had accumulated in 20 years. And I realized I had a negative net worth. That was a wake up call. Like, I'm not, like, even though you won't say that's your value, but truthfully, that is your value. Right. That's what you have to leave. And at that point, all I had attained was debt. And that woke me up quick.
Financially, you said that you were in debt. So what were the steps to, okay, let me pay off this debt, let me like put money back? Like, how was that process?
So the first thing I did was I signed up for the 401k program at my job. That way I could start saving money. So even though I was spending money, I was able to save, so that offset it, so my net worth. Another thing that I did was I took a course called Financial Peace. And Financial Peace helped me learn how to pay off your debt in a snowball. So your cards that have the lowest, or your student loan that's the lowest, you pay that off first and then go to the next. So when I got my first job, instead of going out and getting a brand new car, that's what everybody likes to do.
Tempting.
Everybody likes to do. I drove my mom's used car, and I stayed at home. So I was able to get out of debt probably in 6 months, paid off all my student loans. I didn't have any credit cards at that time, so I was able to at least get to ground zero, so my net worth wasn't negative.
Right.
And with that, then I was able to build up to where I could start saving and putting money away. But one thing I did learn from that experience is that paying off debt is great, but I would try to put this out to as many people as I could to actually save up a cash reserve, emergency fund, they like to call it.
I got you.
Because
like a little piggy bank on the side.
Well, I don't know how many pennies your piggy bank go, but I would say for somebody young, at least $3,000. So if something happened, you can step in and pay for it. So for instance, for me, I had paid off all my student loan debt. I was debt free. I was so happy. And then that car I told you about got wrecked. And then I had to deplete all of my money and get back into debt because I had to go get a new car.
Yeah.
And without an emergency fund, you're right back into debt. So I would say try to stack your emergency fund first and then pay off debt. That way you can put a shield around yourself to where you're not getting right back into debt.
What I'm going is I want you to talk about active and passive income.
Okay.
And what's the difference and where that can go. So when you're on your day-to-day job, that would be your passive income, correct? No, that would be your active.
Active income, that's what's going to come every 2 weeks, every month, however you get paid. That's coming to you.
And then I want you to get into more of the passive income and how you have like implemented that into like your life.
Okay, so passive income, one thing that I did to help, a tool that I used to start paying off my debt is I use my passive income and I put it straight to my debt. Any of my side hustle jobs, I would go straight and pay my debt off with that. So I was doing secret shopping. So I was getting my clothes cleaned. I was getting my oil changed for free. Just them paying for me to go do these things and telling them about my experience. So all the money that I was making from that, I was putting it onto my debt directly. So I would say passive. Now I have a resale business. Like I sell clothes on eBay and Poshmark, and that is passive income. So say for instance, I'm sitting at work. I get paid hourly. I make 10 sales on Poshmark in a day. I might have made more money sitting there than I did working at that job. So I realized just having, they call it mailbox money, having something where it's generating money in your sleep. And that could be anything. Your podcast, being up on YouTube, you monetize it. And then next thing you know, they start sending you checks to the house. So you just want something that you don't have to do every day that brings you some money.
That can just keep bringing in the income. Okay. So earlier you talked about how you actually traveled to Hong Kong, and I know that's like one of the many places that you visited. So I definitely want to get into that. Like, how do you, when you're planning this trip, what's like the smart way to plan and just save your money and prepare for that trip?
Okay. First of all, I would say don't use your credit cards to fund a trip. Like, you can use a credit card to say, okay, I'm going to pay it off the next payday, or have your trip paid for before you go out there. Another thing I do to see where I want to go is I watch YouTube vlogs of like being black in China, where I can see where they went and stuff like that. And Pinterest is very huge, like the top 10 places to go. And then I kind of just try to see what essential things that I need. Like, say for instance, in China, I know that they kind of censor Instagram. Like, I need my Instagram, I need my Facebook. So they have like different tools or things that you can buy, so where you can still get on those things when you get over there. But I only learned that from YouTube.
Okay. So how do you stay safe?
Okay.
Like, keep safe, because it's crazy out. Like, it's getting more dangerous by the day, and it's really scary. So it's just like, when you over in another country, like, what precautions do you take when you actually travel?
I honestly think America prepares you for safety, because we don't feel safe out here. Like, you gotta be on guard. It's the same thing. I always joke with my friends. It's like, people don't want black hostages. So I kind of feel naturally safe. But at the same time, you don't go with people you don't know. If it doesn't feel right, I don't walk by myself at night. I use my common sense. But at the same time, I try to always check my surroundings, know what's going on.
Be in the now.
Don't be on your phone walking. Like, you just want to be present. That's the biggest thing.
Gotcha. So what was like your all-time favorite place that you like in love?
Okay, you see me smiling already. Medellin, Colombia. It was Medellin,
Colombia.
It was beautiful. I learned so much out there. Like, they had Uber, so I was able to get around pretty fast. And then they didn't even stay. A lot of them didn't speak English, so we got to practice our Spanish. But it was just a beautiful country. Like, I loved Medellin.
Okay, that's good. So what was like the place that gave you like the most culture shock? Like, you went there and you just shock. Like, wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of fit in every place I've gone so far, because I don't try to put my stuff on that country. I kind of try to absorb it and experience it.
Embrace it.
Yes.
Well, I know it's like so many places, but like the food and the culture that you experience, how important and how crucial do you feel like traveling was and like bettered you as a person?
Traveling grew me to where I learned that the world was bigger than my bubble. Like, and I have a hard time when I come back from trips. Sometimes I don't know if they call it like travel depression. Like, say for instance, Hong Kong is so fast paced, and I'm seeing all these different things. Like, I could be hiking in the mountains one day, I could be swimming in the ocean the next. It was just like a gamut of so many different things I could be doing. And then when I get home and you don't even walk like your street, it was a big, like, coming home is kind of a culture shock, because it's like I was so free and now I'm back to a bubble. But like, going out the country allowed me to realize, like, there's global issues, there's global things, and we're just a piece of it. Like, and it made me grow as a person to care about things outside of myself. It made me embrace other cultures. It made me curious to know more about myself, because when you go all of these different places, you realize people are the same. People your age are going through the same emotions and stuff. And it just makes you realize, like, this world is really small, and you can relate to people just based off of anything that you, like, you can connect with other humans that don't even speak your language just off of the pure, like, joy that you have. Like, it helps you as a person overall.
Exactly. So I'm really excited to travel. Like, that's at the top of my list. So what can I do now, me being in like college? How can I know, like, like with finances, it's so much stuff. But like now, what can I do to actually set myself up to actually travel and like experience?
Number one thing, get your passport. Passport gives you access. If you don't have a passport, you can't travel abroad unless you do a cruise or something. But you need your passport first and foremost. I would tell every young person to get your passport. Because say if somebody says, hey, I want to take you to Costa Rica next month. Next week. And you don't have a passport, you don't have access to go.
Yeah.
So I would say, start small. I'm kind of practical. Get your passport first.
Gotcha. Okay, so I want to kind of piggyback off that and go and talk about finances because it's like a very broad topic, but it's like we're not educated. I feel like we're not prepared to go into like the adult world.
Yeah.
We don't know everything about finances. So first thing I want to talk about is like building credit.
Okay.
Like how has that been for you, learning about credit and then learning how to use it to your advantage?
Okay, so I realized that credit is access to capital, but I would suggest to people to only get into debt for like using credit if it was to make you some money. Like I'm learning this clearly now because all credit is a net 30. It's just where you get to pay you can get to use somebody else's money for 30 days and pay it off without having to pay interest. That's all it is a net 30. It's allowing you to use however many paychecks you have in a month to pay off that. That's it. But it's say for instance, if I did this recently, I got into investment. I use money. I got into we're flipping a house. All right. I got a $5,000 credit loan.
Okay.
So cash advance on my card, and I put that $5,000 towards the investment. That investment is going to yield, say it yields a 50% return. So that means that investment is going to make me $2,500. Okay. So I use $5,000 of somebody else's money, and I got a 0% interest rate. $5,000 to make $2,500. That's how you use credit. You don't want to use it to buy. Oh, I need a new computer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a computer on credit. That is not. It does nothing for you. But if I'm able to use, like, say if I don't have $5,000 in my bank account, I'm able to use their $5,000 to generate me $2,500.
And then you just get $8 back, and then the rest is profit for you.
Yes, because you're gonna get $7,500 in total. But that's how you use credit. It's access to capital to make you more money. And once I learned that opened my mind. Like at first I was kind of nervous. I didn't get my first credit card until like 2 years ago. But I realized like you have to play the game to build your credit. Like if you want to be in the 800s, they want to know that you can that they're gonna make money off of you. Creditors want to make money off of you. It's a game. They want to make money off of you, so they want to make sure that you're in debt responsibly. But on the other end, you don't want to spend money you don't have to get a high credit score. So I would say make your payments on time for sure, and only get credit that you can pay off. Only use your credit cards if you know you can pay it off in the 30 days or whatever amount of time that they give you without paying interest.
And it makes it real plain and simple, black and white when you say it like that. Like just know in them 30 days you need to
pay it off. And then I use the points. I mean, all of that is cool, the points and stuff, but pay off your balance. And then one thing, this is another thing, credit cards, like for instance, for businesses. So I use my credit cards to get inventory. So, but what I find is what I told you about, if you get into debt to make money, inventory, for instance, I'm going to put in $1,000 for inventory for the month. But that inventory is going to yield me $4,000. So not only am I getting the points from paying it off, but I'm making me some money off of that inventory. Right. So that's how you use your credit cards to your advantage. But if you go out and you're spending money on a bunch of clothes just for you,
just gonna sit in your closet and not do nothing.
And then you spending all your money down the line to pay it off. And say if you don't pay it off in the 30 days, then they taking on 26% interest.
And then it's cutting down your credit score, right?
And it's an ongoing cycle of debt that it's hard to climb out of it as you go deeper and deeper. And then it say so one thing I know is if you're not paying your credit card on time, then you probably don't have an emergency fund. And I realized that is a cycle of lack. So once you don't have the money, but you're spending money on some certain things are bound to happen that's going to mess you up. Your tire's going to go out. Something's going to happen to your car. Your transmission might go out. So then you don't have the emergency fund to put it in. So then you go get a cash advance or you go get payday loans to pay for your transmission so you go to work.
Right.
Now you're like a slave to the job because you can't leave because you got to keep paying off this debt.
Keep paying it off and paying it off. So I hear you keep saying make sure you have that backup money, like that emergency fund to have, because anything could happen.
Every woman needs to keep at least, young girls, it should go up, but your goal should be able to have, you should have $3,000. The reason why I say $3,000, it's just for me personally was when I had to sit out of school for a year, I had a $3,000 balance on my school loan account. And I went to my mom, like, Mom, let me borrow $3,000 so I can finish school. And I had one class. I would have gone back for that. I could have gone to summer school, taken that one class, and been done. And Mom was like, I don't have it. And honestly, that's the best thing that could have happened to me. Is my mom saying, I don't have it. We don't have it. You're on your own, because that taught me that nobody's going to come and save you.
No, and I'm learning that now. It's kind of like, okay, I gotta do this. Like it ain't gonna be given to me. It's like money don't grow on trees. Like it actually.
And for college students, I realized that going to college doesn't equate you getting a job. Just because you got a degree doesn't mean that you're granted this job, because in which a university should. If I've invested thousands of dollars into my education at your university, my reward for investing my money should be a guaranteed job. But that's not it. That's not how it goes. So I realized that college, you should be spending 4 years trying to create your job or setting yourself to be in a job as soon as you get out. Don't wait until graduation to decide, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. No. You're defeating your purpose, because student loans start 6 months after graduation. If you don't have a job, you're going to have to defer, and you're going to be still in debt.
And then do they add interest?
Yeah, they add.
Interest rates.
If you don't have, I think it's a subsidized loan, your debt is occurring every day, and that's what I realized. My student loan was like 5% interest. So I realized that the amount that I had, I equated it to a hot and spicy every day. It was $1.08 every day for my loan. I said I could be going to McDonald's and getting a hot and spicy every day.
And that would be
the same.
Added up to your
because then you got to think compounded interest is crazy. It's growing every single day. Like, that's expensive. I mean, it's only $1, but if I'm giving, say somebody tells you, like, just flip it. The mindset is, say you had something that was yielding you $1.08, paying you $1.08 dividend every day. You'd be like, at least I'm going to eat. You know, like, seriously, at least I can go to the doctor menu and give me something every day.
Right.
I'll be fine. Yeah. So that's a new goal of mine, to have some type of passive income that I'm making at least $1 or something every day, because it adds up. It
does. So when being in adulthood, what was like the biggest expense that you realized that you would have to,
that I've had for so far? My car. No. The biggest expense that I've had so far is land. So that was it was kind of a shocker to me, because once I paid off my car, you get a title, and I'd never seen a title before. But I'm like, everybody drives cars. Like, why don't they show us what a title looks like in college or high school? Like,
why? That's the question. Why don't they teach this stuff in high school and college?
And I would implore other people to look at what a title looks like. look at it, read it, so you can see that's ownership of a car. And then recently, when I bought my land, we paid cash, and then I was able to get the deed. And I'm like, this is what the American dream is, in a paper in your hand of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I had never read a deed in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was. Like, for instance, we were going to sign for our land. It was a HUD statement. And we did not know what that meant. We didn't know what each element meant.
Yeah.
But that is stuff you need to know. And if I would say, when you get a chance, look up what a deed looks like and look what a car title looks like, just so you can be empowered when it's your time to purchase those things.
And I'm sure buying that land was very exciting for you.
Very, very. We got a video coming soon about the purchase. Yes.
Yeah.
In the art of negotiation. That's what I would tell you to also, especially being young, is things aren't what they cost, it's what you are willing to pay for. Mm-hmm. And everything is negotiable. But if you see a price and you say, and this is something I had to learn as an adult, if you see a price and you say you agree to that price, you just accepting it, but you don't know what that person is willing to accept for that. They might go down lower. Like for instance, when you go to get a car, the price on a vehicle might be $14,000. Mm-hmm. The car dealership might say, we need to make at least $1,500 off the car. Mm-hmm. Say if they only paid $5,000 for that car, they are only looking to sell it at $6,500. But when you saw $14,000 on that car, you like, well then, I guess that's how much it costs. Right. But you have from $6,500 to $14,000 to be able to negotiate. And the savvy people are normally the people with the $14,000 to buy it. Mm-hmm. But they understand that I have $14,000 in my pocket. Mm-hmm. I got the money anywhere that I want to. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, you need my money. Mm-hmm. See, that's the art of negotiation, is who needs what. Right. I have $14,000. Mm-hmm. You have a car that you
trying to get off your lot,
that you have invested $5,000 into. Right. How long have you had this car? How quickly do you need to get money to pay your rent or the building, your overhead? So I can negotiate what you need based off of what I need. You only want to make $1,500 off that car. I only want to spend $8,000. So I negotiate.
You're right.
That is what I'm learning, and it's not taught to us, especially women. Not. I thought it was a racial thing, but it's really women. We're taught to just go with what it is, but men question things. They're like, they'll pop the hood. We don't even pop the hood, but nope. they'll be like, just pointing out stuff just to lower the price. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm realizing. Yeah. Be willing to negotiate.
Okay, I like it. So I know I read that you talking about the financial peace course that you took. I read the book, the Dave Ramsey.
Yes.
So I haven't got all the way through it, but definitely like just when he was talking about how negotiation goes, like it's really like a game. Yeah. It is. It's like when you find the art, like when you master the art, it's really fun. Like you just go anywhere and just negotiate anything. So yeah, I'm glad that you touched on that. That was really good. So I want to talk about saving money.
Okay.
The discipline that comes with that, like how do you discipline yourself? How do you plan it out, especially with you traveling, you having tiny heights? Mm-hmm. How do you just discipline yourself not to just go and just all out sometimes?
Okay. Yeah. I realized, to me, I need security in my life to be able to thrive. Mm-hmm. That's just me personally. Some people have a higher risk level, but I can take more risk when I know the things that I'm able to attain, those things, and keep them. Like the things that I need. Like I'm able to pay for my bills and be secure. So what I do is, and I know it's kind of hard for some people, but I try to pay my bills 3 months out. So I prepay my bills, and I eventually I'm gonna get to 6 months. I prepay my bills out 3 months, and then I try to save. Like I told you, I have an emergency fund. I have a magic number in my mind that I need to have in my account to feel safe. And with saving, it's not like, oh, I'm putting this up, such and such. It's like literally to put a shield around myself. That if something major happens to me, it's like insurance. Like how you pay your insurance every month, or say you get sick, you want to be able to go to the doctor. I build a shield of savings around me to where if something happens, I can go to that savings account. And I realized, Uncle Robert taught me this, when you have more savings, you're more likely to spend less. Like say for instance, if you had $20,000 in an account, you're more likely to keep $20,000 in your account than $1,000. Because say if you had $1,000 and your goal is $5, you feel like it's so far to get to $5. But say if you had 20, you like, I like how 20 look in my account.
I like how this feels.
I like being able to be like, if something happens, I'm covered. But at the same time, you're not gonna touch it.
Right.
So I really strive to, for one, when you get into your first job, always invest in your 401k and do your company match. That's the first thing I learned, because it's free money. Free money. I would always say, save as much as you can, but save what you would make you feel secure first, because it's your first shield against spiritual warfare. Because things are going to happen in your life. Things
you have no control over.
But you have to be a good steward of what you have and to be able to protect it.
Right.
Life insurance, make sure you get a life insurance policy. But you want to put as many protections around you as you can to be able to fight things full on that comes against you.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I'm trying to learn the discipline part, definitely, but it's just like, just so much that I don't know. It's so much that I don't know, and I feel like people who are just around me, the Black community, just my little sister, it's just, I think about people like that who don't know how money works. It's like we all want to be rich, but we don't know how bank work, or how credit work, and just things like that.
Start with your goal. Start with your goal. Everybody's different from what they want. Say for instance, if you want to be able to travel once a year, what would that look like for you to be able to do it? Another thing, do your net worth. Be honest, it's a wake-up call when you're able to write all of what you have, and it will motivate you to be like, I need to be doing more. I need to have something. I need to be saving more. The discipline comes from knowing what you need. If you never added it up to know what you need, you're not gonna save it, because you don't feel like you need nothing.
You're secure, but it's like the numbers don't lie. So, got you. So one more thing that I want to ask you. So I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Okay.
So you're heading out, about to go travel, about to go hit up a new country or something. And you're on the flight. What music are you playing? Like, what's jamming with you?
Okay. So something that was ongoing in my headphones in every country that I've gone to is Nipsey Hussle. Like, been loving his music. Like, I've gone to different countries, listened to his music. I've walked up waterfalls, mountains. I've gone to Machu Picchu, listening to his music. It just motivated me to go different places. While I was going different places, I just having that message going through my ears. Right. That just motivated me. So Nipsey.
Okay, so I like this. So I want to thank you, Jen, for coming onto my podcast. This has been a couple. I hope that you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I got a cup full.
That's great. So everybody, I just want y'all to stay motivated. Keep asking questions. Be curious. Hopefully you find your passion. And I'll just see y'all on the next Kupfull with Kennedi.
Bye.